y'all, I'm Anna and welcome back to my channel. Christmas is right around the corner and today I'm going to be sharing with you 2 easy but delicious recipes that you can make for your Christmas morning breakfast or brunch. Our first recipe is called Biscuits and Gravy Casserole, and y'all, this casserole is so good. It is our favorite type of breakfast casserole. I have shared it on my channel before, but it's been a while. So we're going to start off with 1 pound of cooked breakfast sausage. I also have a can of jumbo biscuits, and I'm going to open this up and cut all of the biscuits into about 1-inch squares. Now I'm going to spray my casserole dish. This is 9 by 13, and I'm going to scatter all of the little biscuit pieces on the bottom. Next, I'll add in all of the cooked sausage, 1 cup of shredded cheese, now in a separate bowl I've got 6 eggs, and to that I'm going to add 1 cup of milk and some salt and pepper. Then I'll just whisk that together really well and pour it all over the top. And the last thing we're going to add is some gravy. Now I've got the Pioneer peppered gravy mix. This is my favorite kind to use. I'm just going to cook this according to the package directions. Okay, now my gravy is ready to go. I'm just going to pour that all over the top of my casserole. And now I'm going to bake this at 350 for 35 to 45 minutes. So this casserole is a family favorite of ours. It always turns out perfect. A lot of times I serve this with some cheese grits on the side and maybe some fruit. But this would be the perfect thing to make for your Christmas breakfast or a Christmas brunch. I promise you everyone will love it. Alright, it's time to get started with our second recipe. This is a baked pumpkin French toast. And I love this recipe because you can assemble it the night before. And in the morning, you just pop it in the oven and you just let it bake, and then breakfast will be ready. So I have a greased 9 by 13 inch casserole dish, and to that I just tore apart an entire loaf of sandwich bread, and it doesn't really have to be stale. Mine was pretty fresh, so I just went ahead and tore it apart and just set it aside. In a separate bowl I'm going to add 5 eggs and whisk them together. To that I'll add 2 cups of whole milk and 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. I also need a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And after giving that a good whisk, I'll add in a good tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, and a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. And I also added in just a tiny pinch of salt. The recipe doesn't call for it, but I always like to add a little bit in. And after whisking that up really nicely, we're going to pour it all over the bread in our casserole dish. And at this point, I just take a fork and I just kind of push all of the bread down just to make sure it's all submerged in the liquid. And after doing that, I'm going to cover it with foil and pop it in the fridge for at least 3 hours. But this is when you can just pop it in the fridge overnight. And now we're going to make the streusel topping, which you can also go ahead and make and just put in your fridge, and then the next morning you can just sprinkle it on top. So for the topping, we need a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm also going to add in a 1/4 cup of flour, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter that's cold and cut into small cubes, a little pinch of salt, and I'm adding in about a 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. You can of course leave the nuts out or use any kind of nut that you like. And using my fingers, I'm just going to mix everything together and make sure that the butter is broken up into smaller pieces. At this point, my casserole has been in the fridge for about 3 hours, so I just took it out and I'm going to go ahead and top the entire thing with my streusel topping. I also have my oven preheated to 350, so now I'm just going to cover this back up with my aluminum foil, and we're going to bake this covered for about 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, I'm going to remove the foil and bake it for another 45 minutes or until the center is set and the top is golden brown. Now, when it first comes out of the oven, it's going to be pretty puffy, almost like a souffle, but as it cools, it will deflate a little bit. But it's best served nice and warm with some coffee on the side, maybe some fruit, and you have got the perfect breakfast for Christmas. Thank you all so much for watching. This will be my last video until the new year. So I hope that you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.